From NBC News, this is a Decision 2008 update. Here is Brian Williams.
Good evening. We have brand new results, the final results of this Tuesday primary night. The polls were held open late tonight in Maryland because of bad weather, and we can just now, make this call. The projected by a significant margin victor tonight in Maryland, Barack Obama. Earlier, we projected him as the significant victor in Virginia, and as expected in Washington, D.C. Among the Republicans, Maryland, John McCain projected by a significant margin. Virginia, McCain, the projected victor there, as the GOP race is still waiting on the raw vote. 8 straight victories for Obama, and McCain holds serve in this wild race. And with that, to our viewers who just joined us from Channel 4 News in L.A. and Bakersfield and all else on the West Coast taking in our signal tonight, this signals the beginning of NBC Nightly News. You just witnessed part of a special report for the rest of the country, but you heard our story as we come on the air, 9:30 here in the East now. Polls are all closed, even those in Maryland that have been held open because of bad weather. Significant night for Obama, significant night for John McCain. Tim Russert with us here in the studio. Tim, let's begin. As the results came in, the first big one we got tonight was Obama. How hard does it make it now for Senator Clinton to grab the nomination?
It has increased significantly after tonight. These were primaries, not caucuses, primaries. Important states, Virginia, Maryland, and the District of Columbia. As you mentioned now, it's 10 in a row. And after next Tuesday with Wisconsin and Hawaii, leading into that March 4th deadline. Brian, he expanded his coalition. Look at these numbers from the Maryland exit polls. We have Obama winning men. We have Obama winning women. And then look at the racial breakdown. Obama barely losing whites, 51-46, winning blacks overwhelmingly. That's a very good increase for Obama in terms of his ability to get white vote. And lastly, family income. He had been losing voters under $50,000. He won those handily tonight in both Maryland and Virginia. Hillary Clinton now has to win about 57% of the elected delegates that are available to her. In proportional allocation, that means she's going to have to win states by margins of 62-38 in order to get that many delegates on her side, because more and more Democrats are looking at the elected delegates as the real barometer as to who should be their nominee. She still has a lead with the so-called superdelegates that can offset things, but the elected delegates, it's an uphill challenge.
So she's had to work harder than she ever dreamed in this. And on the Republican side, you could make that same argument for John McCain, who had a big night tonight, but still has Mike Huckabee in some places stride for stride with him.
He does. The wins tonight in Virginia and Maryland are a huge relief to John McCain. If he had lost those states, he would have been fighting until May to get the necessary number of delegates. He can now lock this race up in about a month, and Huckabee's going to stay in there. He's going on to Wisconsin and other places, but by winning these 2 states tonight, McCain can at least see the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of holding on to that nomination once and for all.
And one more note on Senator Clinton. Isn't it possible we're entering, and you touched on this, what could be a dry spell for her in terms of victories, which can have a devastating impact in terms of press coverage and raising money and staying out there with her message?
She's trying to say to the press and to her donors and her supporters, wait till March. Ohio, Texas, and then April, Pennsylvania. I'm going to be okay. But we covered these 3 big wins for Obama tonight, 5 big wins over the weekend. Next Tuesday, perhaps 2 more wins. She needs to get on that board quickly. She's won 10 states. He's won 21. She needs to change the equation, change the momentum quickly.
Tim Russert, it's been a long night already. There's more to come. Thanks for being with us for that, for your assessment of these numbers. Let's talk about some of these victors tonight, beginning on the Republican side. John McCain has set up his victory shop in Alexandria, Virginia tonight. That means our own Kelly O'Donnell is there, as she always is, covering things. Kelly, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. McCain top advisors say that this is a win. They're happy about it. And the way they explain the fairly close margin in Virginia is to say the weather in northern Virginia, which would be McCain country, was a real factor in lower turnout. They also believe, because Virginia voters could also vote in the Democratic race, that independents who might be for McCain likely crossed over perhaps to vote for Obama, because that race is far more undecided than the Republican side. They call Huckabee formidable, likable. They understand his appeal, but don't expect John McCain to hit him hard. The thinking tonight is continue to draw distinctions when necessary, but John McCain will be talking about a Democratic opponent and the issues in the general election and trying more and more to keep Huckabee at arm's length. They say Huckabee's got decisions to make because from their point of view, mathematically, John McCain will be the nominee. Brian?
All right, Kelly, thank you very much. And Ron Allen's been listening to his colleague Kelly O'Donnell. Ron is at what passes for Huckabee headquarters tonight, a public space, a bank lobby in Little Rock, Arkansas. And Ron, you knew the equation going in. You heard the way the McCain campaign is putting it. It did just get tougher tonight for Governor Huckabee.
It's always been tough mathematically, Brian. There are varying estimates as to whether or not mathematically it is possible for him to still win the nomination. Earlier today, he was laying out scenarios where delegates flee their candidates, where uncommitted delegates fall to him, a brokered convention. But the bottom line is that he's lost big tonight. He's lost Virginia especially, which is one place that he pushed hard to win. We're expecting to hear from Governor Huckabee any minute, and I'm sure the first question that he will be asked is, so are you still going to stay in it? And I would suspect that his answer is going to be, of course I'm going to be in it until somebody gets 1,191 delegates, McCain or someone else. But I got to believe also that at some point he's going to be forced to reassess. There are going to be calls to him in the morning, I'm sure, from some people in the party and others who are saying to him essentially, what are you accomplishing by staying in, and what might you be sacrificing by staying in this race and perhaps undermining John McCain, who appears to be the nominee now, particularly since the Republicans apparently face an uphill battle against the Democrats in November. We'll tell you what he says.
All right, Ron Allen in Little Rock for us tonight. Over to the Democrats we go, and what is tonight the temporary victory headquarters for Barack Obama. You are looking live at the arena there, University of Wisconsin-Madison. Thousands of people in a little over an hour filled that room. Their man has taken 3 more. Lee Cowan is covering there for us tonight. Lee?
Well, Brian, your timing is perfect. Barack Obama was actually waiting to hear the results of Maryland before he came out tonight. And as you just called Maryland, that's when he came out. He clearly has the momentum, I think, going into the next couple of races here. But the campaign would point out that it's a different kind of momentum. When during the early states, Iowa, coming out of South Carolina, everything was so compressed. The campaign says that momentum really never had a chance to take hold. This is going to be different this time. He's going to stay here almost an entire week here in Wisconsin to campaign. Then he's got an entire stretch where he can really just focus on Texas and Ohio. The more time he spends in states, he thinks, the better it is for him. So he thinks that this momentum will now really have a time to catch on, really have time to build as we head into those very important states of Ohio and Texas, Brian.
All right, a big night for him in a big arena. People waiting a long time to see him. Lee Cowan, thanks. The folks, as I mentioned, folks joining us watching Channel 4 News in Los Angeles, you remember the early predictions in this race, the many fundraising visits to Southern California that Hillary Clinton made, and we've been saying all night tonight this changes the math a bit. Andrea Mitchell covering that campaign in our Washington newsroom. We saw Senator Clinton in Texas at a live event earlier, and Andrea, perhaps we can put a finer point on how it got tougher tonight.
Boy, did it get tougher. It got tougher because, as you've been hearing, Hillary Clinton lost in her key constituencies to Barack Obama. He cut into her support among white women, among white men, and built on his own support among African Americans in Virginia and also in Maryland. This is a very important step for him because he broadened his base, and with that, she has to win such a high percentage, as Tim was saying, of the delegates remaining. So she said as she arrived in Texas tonight, I am so glad there's no place I'd rather be than in El Paso. Truer words never spoken. She was really glad to be out of Virginia. She anticipated the loss, but not by the margins and not across the board. And now she's got her work cut out for her in Texas and Ohio for March 4th.
And the story keeps regenerating itself. One editorial note, the music playing in the background tonight at the Clinton rally in El Paso, Bruce Springsteen's song, The Rising. That's exactly the theme, the message the Clinton campaign is going to try to use starting tomorrow morning. We switch gears from politics to business, specifically the big business story making news today. It came out of General Motors. We all know for years sales have been dropping. It's a cruel thing that nowhere have they dropped more than here at home in North America. Well, that led to today's announcement, the biggest single loss in the history of the automotive business. Reporting on that for us tonight, CNBC's Phil LeBeau.
General Motors, the biggest of America's big three, taking a historic hit, a $38.7 billion loss for 2007.
The Achilles heel has always been North America. In North America, though, they have a new contract with the UAW that they feel is going to give them the ability to really move forward.
And that's the issue facing 74,000 GM blue-collar workers who will get buyout offers from $45,000 to $140,000 to leave the company and to open jobs for new workers hired at a lower wage. Workers at the GM transmission plant in Warren, Michigan weren't talking today, but the company's CEO is hopeful many workers will take the deal.
We don't know yet how many people will take that offer, but we think it's a very good offer.
It's a survival strategy for GM. Expensive buyouts now to cut future labor costs. At the same time, try to offset slower business here in the U.S. by increasing sales overseas. In China, the world's second largest auto market, GM is #1, thanks to red-hot Buick models. Business in Russia is booming. And here in the U.S., some GM models like the Chevy Malibu and GMC Acadia are selling well, but not well enough to stop the red ink.
To be honest, running against the economic condition we're against right now, it's a tough assignment, but we said we're going to stick with the strategy.
A strategy that calls for more belt-tightening at an automaker struggling to get back on track. Phil LeBeau, CNBC, Detroit, Michigan.
One more late projection. John McCain projected the Republican winner in the District of Columbia, where Republicans are by far the political minority. Nightly News will continue after a break with our series, Who We Are, those genetic tests that can predict future illnesses. Are they always a good idea? And later on, how a sports legend and a smart designer got involved in the sneaker business, turned it into a gold mine.
It's a big world, and it's my job to shrink it. I'm a model maker. We shrink buildings, we shrink landscapes. I make it really small. So when my doctor said that my going and going was because of an enlarging prostate, I said, how can we bring it down to size? He said, Avodart. He said, Avodart's different because over time, it actually shrinks the prostate and improves urinary symptoms over the long term. Other medicines don't treat the cause because they don't shrink the prostate.
Avodart is for men only. Women should not take or handle Avodart due to risk of a specific birth defect. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease. Rarely sexual side effects, swelling, or tenderness of the breasts can occur. Only your doctor can determine if your symptoms are from an enlarged prostate and not prostate cancer. So have regular prostate exams. Ask your doctor about Avodart today. It's your growing problem. It's our job to shrink it. Avodart.
Whoa. Yeah. Woo. Advil liquid gels. Rushing liquid relief wherever you hurt. There's still nothing proven to work faster or last longer. Advil liquid gels. The every pain reliever. In a hurry.
Vitamin D is a key to calcium absorption, which helps keep bones strong. Caltrate has advanced levels of vitamin D. Keep your bones strong to keep your body strong. Caltrate, the key to strong bones.
For fast heartburn relief, Sarah and Amy do things very differently. Amy chews just one Pepcid Complete. Sarah chews a few Tums. And when heartburn returns, a few more. But Amy's one Pepcid Complete starts to neutralize acid in seconds and keeps working all night. So while Sarah may have to take Tums again, Amy puts her heartburn to rest with Pepcid Complete. Chew one and heartburn's done.
Tomorrow, a Today Show exclusive. He says police accused him of being a fake and was dumped from his wheelchair. Now he tells us his story only on Today on NBC.
We're back and we continue now with our series this week, Who We Are, the truth about DNA. We've come very far, very fast in our knowledge of DNA, the human blueprint. That has raised expectations about the medical promise of genetic testing. But as our chief science correspondent Robert Bazell tells us, the meaning of the results isn't always clear.
BRCA analysis is a blood test that's helped thousands of women find out their risk for hereditary breast and ovarian cancer.
The ads are becoming ever more common, aimed both at doctors and the general public. Genetic tests for breast and colon cancer and other diseases. And there is increasing worry about their effect.
Some of the things going on in the marketplace now scare me, frankly.
For years, Alex knew colon cancer ran in his family. His doctor told him to get a genetic test. A few weeks later, the doctor sent him the results, positive for a deleterious mutation. With a handwritten note, your children need genetic testing when teenagers.
What do I know? Nothing. There was no information, no phone call. You know, what do I do? I was depressed.
What is the risk that I have the gene?
Genetics counselor Ellen Matloff says Alex should have had a lot of information before he took the test about the implications for himself and his extended family.
Genetic tests are not like a pregnancy test where you get a yes or a no. There's a wide variety of answers with a genetic test.
So the patients themselves are left to order the test.
One big danger, experts say, is misinterpreting a negative test, for example, for breast cancer genes.
That takes the woman's lifetime risk in the U.S. of getting breast cancer from about 12% to about 11.99%. You might think, great, I don't have to get mammograms anymore. I'm safe. That could kill you.
Advertising and selling the test is perfectly legal. Myriad Genetics, the largest test maker, says the ads perform a service.
We feel a tremendous obligation from a public health perspective to get the information in the hands of individuals so that they can have the appropriate medical interventions take place.
It really gives us some insight into what we should be doing for your family members.
Many experts agree the tests can be life-saving, but only when the patient completely understands the meaning, as Alex does now. Robert Bazell, NBC News, New Haven, Connecticut.
And one more note here. Robert Bazell tells us there's a lot more information specifically on the complexities on this subject of genetic testing. We've put it all on our website. That's nightly.msnbc.com. Because we cover all creatures big and small, dog lovers have been drawn to the big drama here in New York tonight. The dog at the center of it all, Uno, one of the 7 finalists at the Westminster Kennel Club show here in New York. Uno has already won Best in Breed, and tonight, if he wins Best in Show, could he look any prouder, he will become Westminster's first beagle ever to become top dog. Quick look at Wall Street. The blue chips closed flat. The NASDAQ was flat, rather, at the end of today's trading. And up next, the future of America, what they say our country will look like in the year 2050.
It's not that unusual when everything is beautiful. It's just another ordinary miracle today.
Life is better when things work in harmony. That's why at CVS Pharmacy, we do a comprehensive check of your prescriptions to make sure they work together.
It's just another ordinary
CVS Pharmacy, for all the ways you care.
Is that the hearty chicken rotini diet? It's the Manhattan clam chowder diet.
It's different.
It's the turkey noodle diet.
It's working for you.
Counting calories never tasted better because 25 of your favorite Progresso soups are 100 calories per serving.
Is that chicken and wild rice? Yes.
Keeping power flowing to thousands of homes and businesses, Paul is a formidable man, but no match for something smaller than a spark. It was a clot. If you've been hospitalized with heart-related chest pain or had a heart attack, what doctors call ACS, chances are you've had a clot too. But now Paul's on Plavix. Plavix, taken with other heart medicines, helps provide greater protection against heart attack or stroke than other heart medicines alone by helping keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. When taking
Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase, so tell your doctor before planning surgery. And always talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. If you develop fever, unexplained weakness, or confusion, tell your doctor promptly, as these may be signs of a rare but potentially life-threatening condition called TTP, which has been reported rarely, sometimes in less than 2 weeks after starting therapy. Other rare but serious side effects may occur.
Ask your doctor about Plavix today, because you're no match for a dangerous clot. If you take Plavix with other heart medicines, continuing to do so will help increase your protection against a future heart attack or stroke beyond your other heart medicines alone. You may be feeling better, but your risk never goes away. Help stay protected. Stay with Plavix.
People spend too many days with seasonal nasal allergy symptoms, like congestion. Only prescription Nasonex is proven to help prevent most seasonal nasal allergy symptoms, including congestion, so you can have more symptom-free days. Side effects were generally mild and included headache, viral infections, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing. Nasonex. For more symptom-free days, ask your doctor about Nasonex.
We're back with NBC News In Depth, and it's about what we're all going to look like as a nation in the year 2050, including, we were told today, becoming a nation where non-Hispanic whites will be, for the first time, in the minority. Maybe the founders didn't see it exactly this way, but at least they knew we were a nation of immigrants, and what you're about to hear is proof that the face of America is indeed changing quickly. George Lewis has our report tonight.
This group, Mango Blue, based in Boston, includes musicians from North and South America, Europe, and Asia. The new face of the USA. A just-released study by the Pew Research Center shows that 19% of the people in this country will be foreign-born by the year 2050. The study projects the population will grow from 300 million today to 438 million.
Over 80% of that growth will be due to future immigrants and the children that they have after they arrive in the United States.
Whites, 67% of the population in 2005, will lose their majority and wind up at 47%. Latinos will increase from 14 to 29%. Blacks, now 13%, will remain at that number, and Asians will increase from 5 to 9%. The researchers say the rest of the country will begin to look like California, where whites are no longer the majority, where 28% of the people are foreign-born. Some groups argue the country cannot afford the population explosion brought on by immigration.
Do we want to fill in all of the green areas in urban areas with even more housing and road?
Others contend that immigrants in the labor force keep Social Security afloat. This, as the study projects an aging population, with the elderly expected to grow from 12% to 19% by 2050.
If you take growth of the immigrant labor force out of the picture, you're going to have to change Social Security.
You know well what I'm talking about. As the song goes, it's an immigrant nation, getting browner, older, more diverse. George Lewis, NBC News, Los Angeles.
We're back in a minute with a look inside one of the most fascinating and famous companies in the world.
Are you like me? I have high blood pressure and I have high cholesterol. Sometimes problems come in twos, but sometimes help can come in one. Catawit. Catawit contains 2 proven medicines, Norvasc for high blood pressure and Lipitor for high cholesterol, combined in one pill. Catawit. Catawit is one of many treatment options that I discuss with my doctor. Ask your doctor if Catawit is right for you. Along with diet and exercise, one pill doing 2 jobs for me. My doctor said Catawit is not for everyone. It's not for people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. To check for liver problems, you need simple blood tests. Tell your doctor about any heart problems and all other medications you are taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. For blood pressure and cholesterol-lowering benefits, it's Catawit. 1 pill, 2 medicines. Makes sense to you? Makes sense to me. 1 pill, 2 medicines. Ask your doctor if Catawit is right for you.
Did you know 1 in 3 men will face prostate issues?
1 in 3, really?
That's why One-A-Day Men's is a complete multivitamin with lycopene, which Harvard studies suggest may help prostate health. One-A-Day Men's.
disciplined investing. At T. Rowe Price, it's not just about the short term. It's about a steady, long-term approach. For each 3, 5, and 10-year period, over 70% of our mutual funds beat their Lipper average. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
Discover Black Silk from Folgers. With bold, rich flavor that's exceptionally smooth. Wake up to Black Silk.
The first time I really played in front of a crowd was right here on Bourbon Street. That's St. Louis Cathedral. That's where I got married. Now this gets very emotional for me. I think in a matter of a very short period of time, this whole neighborhood is gonna look absolutely beautiful because of the Musicians Village. Hey, which one of y'all ordered the crawfish? My dream is to get the good times rolling again in my hometown.
The new 2008 Lincoln MKX, designed to inspire, ready to uplift.
Tonight here on the Channel 4 News at 11 o'clock, it's happened again at the same local mall. A woman shopping attacked by 2 men. Are the same 2 suspects responsible? Also tonight, a new law affecting thousands of local dog owners. Plus, you've seen those old lie detector tests. Now there is a whole new way to tell the truth from the lies. Tonight, right here at 11 o'clock.
If it's for the right reasons, instant name recognition is a big goal of any really big successful company. Case in point, the Nike logo. It's recognized around the world. For that matter, so is Michael Jordan. So it seemed like a perfect marriage when the two of them got together almost 25 years ago. Tonight, CNBC's Darren Rovell reports on a $16 billion marriage.
This was the scene a few weeks ago outside a New York City shoe store in 25-degree weather when word got out that Nike was offering a sneak peek, selling just 23 pairs of the new Air Jordan 23s. Some of these so-called sneakerheads had been in line for 5 days.
If you want to get your hands on them, that's what you got to do.
It's a high-tech shoe with a high-end price, $185 a pair. Just the latest in a line of 23 Air Jordan models. From the beginning, people wanted the shoes worn by the kid who wasn't just a star, but an icon.
Why do people buy Air Jordans? Why did they buy them then, and why do they buy them now?
It's something that represented my name and what I did to the game of basketball. That has continually transcended over time.
Since 1988, most Air Jordans have sprung from the creative partnership of the superstar himself and this man, architect turned shoe designer Tinker Hatfield.
It ultimately boils down to what I call the romance of trying to draw out something unique from the athlete, from the personality, and from the relationship.
He called it a romance between you two. Why do people kind of relate to that?
Well, it's like a romance. Once you fall in love, it's hard not to fall in love with the person that brings you the most joy.
For 23 years, Jordan's name and Nike's brand have been one of the most potent combinations in all of sports.
I look forward to it lasting another 23 years.
Jordan 46 is going to be great.
Could be. Could be.
And that may be just what Jordan and Nike are shooting for. Darren Rovell, CNBC, New York.
Good evening. I'm John Larson in Los Angeles. We have just received word from the AP is reporting that the Writers Guild has ended its 3-month strike. Its voters have just voted. That news just in. For Brian Williams, that's NBC Nightly News for tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Larson in Los Angeles.
Next, Heather versus Paul, over $160 million. We have the video she's using as ammo. Then is Fergie pregnant? Plus, Cher talks about saving Farrah, and Cameron's dancing with the dogs.
The Corolla's cabin is so quiet. We've locked our friend inside with ferocious sleeping badgers. If awakened, they'll gnaw his face off.
the more refined Corolla. Live the dream for less coin.
I'm Heather Gardia, Executive Chef at Coco's, and we're serving up our classic prime